Hi everyone, this is Tracy from We Craft at Home. Thank you for joining me. As you can see, I'm at the Tattered Lace Create and Craft page because they are still all here in case you're wondering. I have downloaded all mine anyway, but they're all here. So I am on issue 1, the very first issue. You remember it's the couple with the tree scene. But what I want, the perfume bottle. Now, I've always loved this. I've never done it because I feel like it's pointless. I don't know if anyone agrees with me, but it's just an ornament and we always like so much more. So I've been playing around with it, trying to do it so that it's actually like a jar. So you can actually keep things in there but still keep the look of the perfume bottle. I think I finally got it and I'm going to show you how I've done it. This is what we're going to do. You have to have 8 panels. It's going to take a lot of card. I'm going to keep it to the same size that they've used. We're going to start by going over to canvas. So I've brought everything over that we're going to need. The first thing I'm going to do, because it really irritates me, I don't like the score lines they use. So if you select all, hold shift, click on the main thing. We've only got the score lines then. And we can change it. Third line down is always the one I use. There's more space in between, so less chance of the card breaking. So I'm just going to do that on all the stuff that's got score lines. So again, hold shift, click so the shape is off, and change them to that score line. That's just my preference. If you prefer to keep it as it is or change it to a different score line, then you do that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is just group them so that when I'm moving them around, I'm not interfering. This I don't really want to group. What I'm going to do is group the score lines so that they're all together. So shift. So now I've only got the score lines and I'm going to group them. I need to do a bit of work on this. So if the score lines are in it, it won't work. Okay, these are the extra bits, no score lines. We do need to do a little bit of work on the hexagons, but the squares I've kept the same, obviously, because I'm keeping this the same size. So let's just move these out the way first. Grab both of them so that they're together. Now, because I need to do quite a bit of sizing and things like that, I'm going to put the ruler on. To do that, you need to go over to the artboard, which is here, and click on Show Ruler. And that way we've got the ruler on. I prefer working in inches. Again, it's down to you what you prefer to work in. So I will do all of mine in inches. Now, the first thing I don't like about this, if I go back to that, is the opening is tiny. And if we want to use it as like a storage, then the opening needs to be bigger. So I'm going to take some of it off. Let's go back to Canvas Workspace. So what I'm going to do, I am going to get rectangle. And first of all, I like my X and Y's. I'm sure you all know that. I'm going to go to the 0, 0. Over here, it's now X and Y's on 0, 0. And then this one, we want on the 0, Y. It doesn't really matter about the X, but we want it on 0, Y. And then we want to make sure that the height is an inch. There we go. The height is now on an inch. So now we can move this up. Just so that we're sure we're covered. And then we've already got the rectangle. So you hold shift, click on the shape. We know the score lines aren't there, and subtract. And there we go. We've got a little bit of a bigger opening there, which we can then use as a storage jar. So that's the first thing. Why have the score lines moved? Okay, I moved the shape without the score lines. So now what we need to do is get rid of this bit here. And the way we have to do that, if we click and click again, then you see the node comes up. I am just going to move in closer so that we can get as exact as we can. And all we're going to do is bring this down. Now, you can't keep it as steady as it's on. And because it's at an angle, you can't use the arrows. So all you can do is guesstimate. And I think that's about right. So, display, zoom to matte size. That looks about right to me. And then click off, and your score line is now in the right place. So the next thing, the other change we've got to do is we need an extra tab on it that's just going to sit down on the inside. It's hard for me to explain right now, but you'll see what I mean. We need a rectangle, and we need this shape here. It's very good to use as a tab. So this is where we need, I'm just going to move them to the side. We need to know what is the size of this. So I'm going to go back in a little bit closer. We need that on the 0. And look, that is so typical, isn't it? Actually, we need it to here. We need it to the score line, so it's just over the halfway. If we then get the rectangle and take it to the same place, then we know we're spot on there as well. We only need a little tab. We don't need it too. There's no particular size for that. You can do it whatever size you want. Zoom to matte size, and then I'm just going to bring all that down. So this is now going to be welded onto there. And this one, we're going to turn 90 degrees. If it's proving difficult, just click on there and do 90, and it will do it exactly for you. We need to match the height to this. So let's do this at 1/2 inch, and we'll do this. The width is 1/2 inch because we've turned it. So 0.5, so that it matches that. And then what we're going to do is grab them both and make sure they are aligned through the middle, and then weld. While that's selected, you want to click on Shift and select onto the main box. Actually, that's got to be moved back a bit. So you want these two corners to be equal. And weld again. For some reason I got the score lines as well. So you click on that, hold Shift, and that's just the boxes. Will not weld a shape if you have score lines in the group. Okay, and then we're going to get the path tool, which is over here. You're going to click, hold Shift, because that keeps the line straight, and go straight across to the other side and double click. And then you're going to change it to the same score line we've been using. Hold path tool again, come up here, click, hold Shift, and down to the other score line, and again change that. So now we've got all our score lines in place. Display, zoom to matte size, and that is our piece ready to go. So I'm going to group that. But the thing is now is we've changed this piece along here, so the hexagon that was meant for it will not fit anymore. So what we're going to do, I'm going to duplicate, because I still need one that size, but I need one that's going to just fit nicely inside. Again, we're going close. I'm just going to measure it so it goes along to there, because again, it's not something you can measure. I need it just a little bit smaller. You need it literally the tiniest bit smaller because it needs to slot in, because we're going to have it like a jar with a slot that slots in. So that's that one. Display zoom to matte size. This one is going to be the normal top. Okay, let's do this right. So this hexagon is for the bottom. We're going to need 2 of them because we want to make it just that tad stronger. This one we've moved is, this goes with that, and we've made that bigger, so it's now not going to fit. So now we need to make this. So all you need to do is measure each one to the side of that. Now the size of that again is just over 1.5 inches, which means one of these also has to be just over the 1.5 inches. Now we're just gonna, while we make it bigger, we need to do the size from the score line, and I need it to be just over 1.5 inches. That looks about right. And then you can measure it by putting one of the hexagon sides onto the side of that, which is fine. The only trouble with that is that it's now very wide. It's nearly 3 inches wide. We don't want one that big. So we are going to bring it in. I personally think 175 would be perfect. But we do need it that length, and it is too big. So you've got 2 choices here. You use a big mat, or if we get 2 like this, we can make a cut. We get 2 like this, we can cut them down so that they both equal the right length. So we know we need 8 of these because obviously it's an octagon. So we need 8 squares. If we get a shape, doesn't matter what shape you get, we can take 4 squares off each. We're going to ungroup because we can't take the score lines, and then we are going to just hold shift. So we've got the rectangle and the shape, and we are just going to subtract. Then we get another one, and we do the same with this. Whoops, wrong one. So you make sure it covers the shape. Again, we have to make sure that's ungrouped, because the weld or the subtract, any of these tools do not like the score lines because they are open, they are not closed cut files. So again, grab both and subtract. And then all we have to do is get rid of the extra score lines. So to do that, I've just got the middle ones at the minute, but it did group the shape as well, so I just held shift, clicked on the shape to let go of that. Now if I can just delete them, I'm left with these long lines, which we're going to do the same that we did with this. I'll just get rid of these extra ones again. Again, it's grab the shape, hold shift, click, it takes it away. Then for each of these, you need to click again, as you can see. Now this one is just a straight line, so if you just use your arrow key, you know you're going to keep it straight. Do the same for all 4. So there you go, that's them ready now. For some reason, there's all these little extra dots that they've left. I don't know what that's for. You can delete them. Some up here as well. We're going to group again. So now they will fit round. They still both need them tabs so they can join to each other. And they will fit round that. So that's going to be the stopper for inside. That's them 2. You need 2 hexagons, one for the top, one for the bottom. Now this one that was the original one needs to be a little bit bigger than that. Not much. So what's this one? Let's do it by size, that'll be easier. So that one says 375, so we'll do that one at 4. See if that works. So it's just a tiny bit bigger. It will fit over it, but only by a little bit. Actually, I'm going to make it, let's have a look at 425. That's a bit better. Which means these two also have to be a little bit bigger. But again, we only need 2 like that, the same as that. So as you can see, they're not going to fit there. We are going to duplicate them 2 so that they're with that one. And then these, as you can see, only need to be a little bit bigger. And don't forget, you are doing the score line and not this outside line. So you want this line to this corner. I'm going to go out a little bit. Again, we can measure it against ruler. So this one is, let's have a look. So it goes 2 lines before the 2. So if we take one of these and we make sure it's a little bit big, this needs to be about there. And then it should fit perfectly. So let's just, yeah, that looks perfect to me. I know it's just a guessing game, but sometimes you have to do it that way. Okay, so that is now, again, you need 2 hexagons of each. Okay, so that's the little one. That is for the top. That is for the inside. This is the bottom, but you need 2 of each. And then you need 8 of each of these because they're the pattern that go there. Now, when I done mine, I didn't go to the charisma. This is me checking it out. The backing papers part, I apologise. You'll find both papers at the bottom. They are 10A and 10B if you've got only the PDF files. I always do a ping file of mine so I can actually see the picture I'm using. Let me just... So you can see all the backing papers we have there, and the last 2 are the papers that we are using for everything. One last thing to say, when I am cutting out from backing papers, my printer does not take card, so I have to do a white card copy and a coloured copy and stick them together. That's the only way I can do it. But it will make it a bit firmer. Now, one last thing. I am just going to ungroup that lot. Just realised. Okay, so now I've got all the score lines in one group now. So this is the one I want, the shape, because I want to do an inner layer, but it just to give it an extra bit of support and thickness. So what I have to do is do an inward line, and I want it tiny because we have to give an extra little bit of space for bending inwards. So an inward line, we want it beveled because they're all straight lines, and that's what we get. Now we just need an extra little bit of work, so I'm going to click again and you'll see the nodes again. What we need to do first of all is take all these out that are the extra lines, because we don't need them. They're just the gluing lines, which we don't need on the inner panel. So you just click on them both. Okay, same as this one. So now we have an inner liner that is just just inside all the score lines, as you see. And then all we've got to do is match the score lines that are on there. You probably don't necessarily have to do it, because you could bend the card. I just think it'll make it easier, personally. And that way we've just got an added strength so that it's more firm. I am just going to move that one out the way. So we've got them, and I am going to group them as well. So you need 8 of them, 8 of them. You need just them 2 plus 2 hexagons, again with that one, them 2 plus 2 hexagons, 2 bases, them as they are, and 8 of each square. So once you've printed out, where have I put it? Once you've printed out the paper, you will cut 8 of each square from this paper. You're going to need extra paper for all the hexagons and these as well. You need to cut them out. You don't need to cut, you only need to cut 1 hexagon of each of that paper, because one of them's going to be hidden, but you need it for their support. I hope that makes sense, and I will see you over at the craft table. Okay, I'm over at the craft table. I've cut everything out, but I have jumped ahead with a few things. So I've put these together as 2 halves, and I've put the little studs on as well. But these I've also added drops. I use a tonic, it's called Silver Lining, because I thought with the grey it's best to do them in silver. This is a big bowl. I was quite surprised at how big it comes out. I have put the inners in as well, and I've got to say it makes a big difference. A big difference. So if I show you my prototype, this is meant to be a tiny one, but this is how I sort of judged what needed doing where. And what I'm trying to do, if I show you, so there's like a stopper, and these are just folded in. The little tabs are glued together to keep it folded in, and then that just literally goes on the top like a lid. That's what I'm trying to do. But what the mistake I made here was I stuck them to the base first. That doesn't work, because then when I get to this end I couldn't put the liners in. So what I've done 2 halves, put most of the liners in, because what I want the liners to cover the tabs, so like an extra protection to keep the tabs together. So that's the thinking behind that. Just so you know, I had to use 6 12 by 12 sheets for this. I had to print out 3 of these and only 1 of that pattern to get everything cut out. So all we're going to do now is carry on. So I'm going to show you how I done it. There's my pokey tool. I've used tape. I normally prefer to use glue, but I have used tape simply because it's an awkward shape to keep together with glue. So it's far easier to do it with tape. So all you do is, I've done the bottom 2, but you do the top 2 or the bottom 2, whatever. And you just make sure that this line meets with the score line on the other one. It can be a bit finicky because of the shape of it, but it's actually, I really like the design. I just don't like that you can't do anything with it by their design. So then the middle ones you meet together. Again, the outside line to the score line. You can use both glue and red liner tape. I do that sometimes. That's what I hate about red liner tape. And then the top too. I mean, it doesn't matter which way you start, from the bottom or the top. Just make sure they meet all the way along. So that's that one, which means now we've got one left. But if we just do the panel we've just done, so you can see, if you can see there, I don't know if you can make it out, the seams you can see. I don't like seeing the seam. I did use glue for the, I think it's just easier. So it's that way round. Make sure you're pushing it into the into the score lines so that they all are properly together. Okay, so last one. I'm going from the top now. And then, before we put the base on, we will put the last inner panelling. Just got to find the one I haven't done. Like I say, just make sure you push it into the scores so that they're down properly. Okay, so there is the base. I left one of the things just to show you. It's more because I had to redo some of the spots, but I just wanted to, I've done it again. Okay, I'm going to leave it a bit longer because they're not quite dry. So what I done, I stuck the backing paper with glue onto that backing paper. And then I've put tape on the back, and I will fill in the spaces with glue. And that's how I've put them all on. So now we're going to go upside down. We're going to take all these off. So I've tried all sorts of different ways with this, and I've got to be honest, the way she shows you on the video in the magazine set is definitely the best way. So you stick one down, and then if you go round one by one, and then it all fits perfectly like that. And then I'm going to go inside. You just need something with a flat edge. Usually say a bone folder. I don't know. I keep mislaying my bone folders, it's terrible. And I'm just sticking it down like that. Making sure they've all gone firmly down. But like I said, I've done two because I want one inside. So I am just going to do this one with glue. It's going to be easier to move around inside and get it in the right place than trying to do it with tape. So I'm just going to squash it in. What it does, it makes the base a lot harder, but it also makes the tabs trapped in between two, so that does help as well. I don't know if you're going to see this. So we have the inside as well as the outside. Now these you could just leave pushed down, to be honest. There are little tabs to stick them if you want, but that's the top. So these are the little stopper things, and to put them together, I stuck the pattern onto a piece of card. I've already pre-done the score lines, and I've got two of them because they're fairly big. So all I'm going to do, first of all, is stick the two together. Just want to make sure I've got the right place. And then the other end as well. Come round and stick that together. So that we've got our hexagon shape there. I'm a bit lazy. I don't do separate tabs on each one, as you can see. There. I just stick it all together. I don't think it makes any difference. If I had a choice, I would use glue, but with stuff like this, it is easier to use liner tape. So as with these, I've got one that's just white and one in the pattern shape. because the bottoms aren't going to be seen on any of these. Okay, so again, stick one and then go round one by one, making sure they stick together properly. I'm pushing from underneath a little bit as well, just be aware. And then for the very last bit, you just sort of meet it at that point. So the reason I do the bottom first is because if I mess it up a bit, it doesn't matter, because it's going to be hidden. And then we do the top. So the bit with the grey is the bit that's going to be seen. The bit with the white you're not going to see. You can already see it's a little bit neater. I think just the scores need a bit reinforcing. I mean, this should just literally sit over the top and do as it's told, basically. So now you should have 3 different size hexagons. The top one is the lid. So this one is going to sit on top of it. Make sure I've got plenty of glue. Try and keep to the rectangle shape. So that sits on top. And then underneath, this one sits. Just want to make sure I've got plenty of glue around the edges. So there it looks like that, because this piece here is what goes inside it. I'm just going to let it dry a bit first, so that you end up like that, and then that one just slots inside like that, and this one sits on top, and then you've got your circles and a pearl, which, where did I put my circles? So there's the circles already stuck together. I mean, it's literally just sticking one on top of the other. And then sticking them to the small rectangle, octagon, like that. And then I will get a pearl on it last minute. So the other thing I just want to check is that these are all going to bend down okay. I think some of them, yeah, some of them need trimming. Okay, that's something I should have checked beforehand. but I think the rest are okay. There was just 2 that I didn't stick down properly, so they stuck up at the end. So you see, they all go down like that, but the reason we need them is so that there's somewhere for this to sit. And then this will just literally squash in, she says. I'm trying to be a bit too gentle because of it's still drying. Don't want to ruin it. Alright, I'll try that again in a minute. I mean, I know it works because I've done it already there. But there we go. And then you've got this big, huge, giant vase. I've got so many different ideas. After I stuck these on, I was thinking you could use decoupage papers or napkins. I had this, I just wanted to check, yeah. So I've got this that I could put around as well. I was going to give that a go and see what that looked like. You know, the sticky ribbon things. So they could just easily go round or on the bottom. Would have been nice just coming out of there actually, wouldn't it? But they'll go nice round as well. I'd imagine you have to cut each one separately so that it fits nicely, but that's another way of doing it. Let's see what it does. You know, if when you're still in canvas, if you cut out little panels, you could put embossed panels on top. You know, there's all sorts of ways of decorating this. That's that last one, but I've squashed it again. I will sort that out. And then it's just for the lid to go on. Maybe we need to make the lid a little bit smaller because it is a really tight fit. I can see it will go in, but only just. It is a very tight fit, so. But it's actually useful because it will be a jar. You can put lots of things in and you can fit your hand in very easily as well. So I hope you enjoyed that. It's nice to keep using our tattered lace things. Yeah, I can see it's going to go in, but I've maybe done it too tight a fit. So I'll make a note of that on the video. Yeah, there you go. Okay, well, thanks for watching and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.